Hey everyone, it's Johnny from Hockey Hockey back with another video, and this video is going to be my 2021-2022 NHL team tier list. So going into the new season, where I think these teams are at. Obviously, this is kind of prediction based. I will make my separate video for my predictions for the new season, my final predictions. But of course, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I hope to see you more. Hit the like button, leave your thoughts in the comment section. Obviously up for debate. I think some of these will be somewhat based on last year, but a lot of it will be based on going into this new season, where I think these teams are at right now, heading into the 2021-2022 NHL season. So let's get right into it. And of course, give me your thoughts. Let's go. So I haven't done a lot of tier lists. I've done it in the past, but I want to start doing them for fun, bringing them back, but also doing like ranking videos, prediction videos, stuff like that. So let's just do straight tiers, S being the best, D being the worst, and hey, we might have to bring some Fs in here if I think some teams are at the bottom, and you know the couple teams I'm talking about. So let's go alphabetically for fun. I might mix it up a little bit if I feel like there's a reference to another team, but let's start with the Anaheim Ducks. So the Anaheim Ducks, they've done pretty decent throughout their rebuild. I think they have still a lot to improve on, but I don't think I can put them at the bottom right now. So I could make some changes for certain teams as I put them into a tier, but for now, I'm going to put the Anaheim Ducks into the C tier. I think they have a lot to look forward to, and I think they have certain pieces in place. Arizona Coyotes. So this is where I'm referencing it to, right? I don't think I can put Anaheim as low as Arizona right now. They're going through a full rebuild. They've traded Dvorak. They've traded a bunch of other pieces. So Arizona for now is in the D tier. I think we could put them lower. And that's where their buddies in Buffalo are going D tier. They have horribly handled the Eichel situation. They are not going to be a good team going into the new year. They have some positive aspects, and they've won a couple good trades. Like, they've done well in some aspects, like they did well in the Ristolainen trade, but other than that, they're at D. Calgary Flames. Okay, this might be surprising. I'm going to put them at B. I think the Flames still have a lot there. They just got to figure it out. They might have to tear apart that core, but for now, I think they're talented enough to be at B. Columbus Blue Jackets. I'm putting them at C. I think they could surprise some people. I don't think they're as low as Arizona or Buffalo, but I'm going to put them at C. I think we need to see bounce backs from guys like Laine, so we'll see. Edmonton Oilers. Okay, I'm putting them at B for now because they haven't shown amazing stuff over the last few years. Obviously, primarily from McDavid and Draisaitl, but we need to see more, and we need to see more of a playoff run. I think we could put them at A, and maybe I change them depending on which teams go here, but for now, they're going to be at B. New York Islanders, I'm putting them at A. They have shown really well. They're one of the most complete teams, I think, going into the new season. I really like where the Islanders are at. They're at A. LA Kings, hot take alert. I'm going to put them at B. I might switch them to C, but I just think the additions they brought in, and they have so many young guys, I might switch them down to C, but I think they're definitely ahead of Anaheim and Columbus. But obviously, Edmonton and Calgary, some of their players are maybe more established, or they've proven a little bit more in recent memory, so I'll put them at B for now. The New Jersey Devils, I'm going to put them at C. I think they could, again, surprise people in the new season. I think they're still missing some pieces in that offense. Blackwood's very underrated, and I like where their defense is headed too. But even on their defense, like they have Hamilton now. They have a guy like Ty Smith, who I'm really excited about. They have Severson, but after that, there's also question marks, right? The New York Rangers, I'm going to put them at B, but kind of like the LA Kings, they haven't shown us a lot yet. So I think a lot of teams, it's going to be tough. I'm going to put them at B for now, but again, we'll have to wait and see. Ottawa Senators, I'm going to put them at C for two reasons. One, I think they still need another year for the rebuild to even go forward, and I do think that based on what we've seen recently, I can't put them above C, but they do have a really bright future. Keep in mind, this is not about future. This is about where I think they're going at, like right now into the new season. Pittsburgh Penguins, I'm going to put them at B as well. I think no Crosby, no Malcolm start the year, but obviously they're going to return. I don't trust Jari in net at this moment, but he could bounce back. I think there's some aspects of this team that could be really good for this season, but I can't put them where the Islanders. I mean, the Islanders beat them, and the Islanders, for me right now, are more complete. San Jose Sharks, honestly, just on how they're handling it, I want to put them at D. I'm going to put them at C. I just think they have still some talent on that team. They have decent talent on that team, but man, they are really disappointing on how they've handled this. I mean, you have to just make up your mind. I think you go towards a rebuild, and that means start trading off some of these guys. So I could put them even lower, but for now, based on the skill set there, I have to put them at least C. Kraken. Okay, this one's tough. I'm going to be like very, very reasonable and go C. I could put them at B and be like the hot take king right now and be like, okay, the Kraken are going to do unreal. But based on their roster, based on their forward group, I don't know if I can put them at B yet. Again, this is not based on my predictions because I'm going to make my own predictions in what I think could happen in the Pacific Division, but just based on their roster alone, they don't have any stars. Yes, this could be a Vegas Golden Knights, but I think the Golden Knights had a little bit more, I would say, like unknown and certain players that had breakout potential. I think Seattle has a couple of those guys, but we'll wait and see. Tampa Bay, they're going S tier. Yes, they lost a couple pieces. They lost Yanni Gourde. They lost Blake Coleman. A couple big pieces, right? But they still have that defense core. They still have their top six. And I mean, guys like Ross Colton, Corey Perry, Barboulay, like they're going to fill the holes. And the Lightning always have that mentality in those players that just step right in and fill that hole. So, man, they still made the playoffs at third in the division and went on that run. So, I mean, they just won the cup. So they won the Stanley Cup, and I think they're right there again. I'm putting them on S tier. Winnipeg Jets. Hot take alert. Massive hot take alert. I'm going A for the Winnipeg Jets. Okay, keep in mind, the Jets didn't have Scheifele in that Montreal series. I'm not making excuses, but what I am saying is they have one of the best, or maybe best, goalie in the league in Hellebuck. He's up there. He's one of the best, for sure. You have a much improved defense. And your forward group, while you lost Mason Appleton, they have other guys coming in to fill in those spots. I think the Winnipeg Jets are one of the more improved teams, I think, especially when you look at the defense group. And I'm going to make a video about them, but I just think they're at least B for sure. And I'm making the hot take and going A. Florida Panthers, I'm going A. They showed a lot of improvement. I think they got even better. That Sam Reinhart addition is going to be great. And if a guy like Spencer Knight can break out, I'm excited for the Florida Panthers. Boston Bruins, I'm going to go A, but I could put them at B here. The reason why is because they lost David Krejci. If they kept David Krejci, I mean, they're A and maybe even going towards S. Same thing with the Islanders. I mean, you can put the Islanders up there, but I'm putting the Lightning at their own tier right now. I might have a couple hot takes, but I just think right now I have to keep them at A, even though I feel like they could be a little, like they could move there. But I just think they lost Krejci. I'm going to put them at A. They still did a lot of great things in the offseason. Carolina Hurricanes, I'm going to go A for now, but they had so many suspect decisions in the offseason. I still think they're good enough to be in this A tier, but man, they have so many question marks. The Colorado Avalanche. Okay, so I could put them in the S tier, and I want to put them in the S tier, but again, they kind of disappointed me in losing Grubauer. I am going to put them in the S tier for now, but I might move it to A. I'm going to think about this as I go throughout the rest of these teams, but I mean, they have one of the best offenses. Their defense core is so stacked. Yes, they lost Ryan Graves, but Eric Johnson coming back healthy. And I think Ryan Murray, that's an underrated addition. And I'm going to keep them at S tier for now, but I might move them down to A. Red Wings, I'm going C. I'm not going to put them down. I think they have a lot more positives. I think Stevie Y is bringing them in a nice direction. So I'm going to go Red Wings at C. Vegas, I'm going to go A. I could put them at S, but here's what I'll say. I think Fleury, that loss might affect them more than some people think. I like Leonard, and I think Leonard can do well, but that tandem's always worked in Vegas. I think it's going to be costly potentially with no Alex Tuck, and I just think there's certain aspects of that team that doesn't scream S for me. And yeah, they did beat Colorado, but I'm talking about going into this new year. And that leads me into the Dallas Stars, where I'm going to put them at B. I actually think the Stars are super underrated for a lot of people. I think they're getting a lot of people healthy, and I could even put them at A here based on their roster and what I'm seeing. So I could see them being an A, so I'm going to say like B, B+, but man, I think the Stars are going to possibly surprise some people. We'll see. Chicago, I'm going to go B as well. I think they got a lot better. I think based on last year, they would be in the C category, but they brought in Fleury. They improved in the forward group. They brought in Seth Jones. They overpaid, but they brought in Seth Jones. So I think Chicago is going to be a lot better. I'm not going to put them at A. I'm not going to overhype like some people, but I think Chicago could do really well. Minnesota, same thing. I'm going to put at B. I think Minnesota's in a tough division, and we'll see what happens. They still have a lot of great pieces, and based on last year, I can't disrespect them and put them at C, but I think they're just a solid B. Montreal, same thing. I'm going to put them at B. They surprised a lot of people, went to the Cup final, but no Weber, Kotkaniemi, Deneau. Yes, they brought in Dvorak, which was a great addition. They brought in Savard, great addition. So I like the additions, even though they have some big subtractions to fill holes for it. But I can't put them at A where these other teams are at. I'm putting them at B. Yes, they swept the Winnipeg Jets, and I have the Winnipeg Jets at A, but we're looking into the new season. We're not talking about primarily last year. We're talking about going into this new year. The Nashville Predators, I'm going to go at C. I don't know what we're going to expect from them. I think they might be at the lower part of their division. Obviously, I'm going to do my own predictions, but we'll see what happens. Philadelphia Flyers, I'm going A. Yes, they missed the playoffs, but I'm expecting a bounce back year from Carter Hart. They improved their defense core with Ryan Ellis, and I think Ristolainen could bounce back too. And I love the Cam Atkinson addition. So I think their forward group even is potentially better. So I really have expectations for the Flyers. I think they should bounce back. They should make the playoffs, so I'm going to put them at A. St. Louis, for me, I'm going to have a B. I think some people think they're going to do garbage, and I like their roster still. I mean, they've lost, yes, some big pieces since their cup run, but I still think they're good enough. I'm going to put them at B. I think there's a lot of teams here at B, and add another one, the Toronto Maple Leafs at B. Again, they're stars, how skilled they are. They could be at A here, but based on what I've seen and the question marks, if we're going to get a consistent goaltender there, and I just think, I mean, the choking aspect, like I'm not going to put them at A because for me, and this is just my opinion, I think the teams in A here, I believe can win a round. And we haven't seen the Toronto Maple Leafs win a round. Maybe other Leaf fans in here are going to get pissed that I'm saying that, but until I can see that they're going to win a round, they're not going into my A category right now. Vancouver, I'm actually going to put in the B category. I think, again, there's certain teams in the B category that are maybe B plus versus some B minuses, but I just think the Vancouver Canucks, they have a lot to look forward to if they can stay healthy. The defense is definitely a question mark, but we'll see what happens. And the Washington Capitals, I'm going to keep at B, but they definitely could be a hot take to regress. I think we're seeing a lot of those guys in the core getting older, but I still think Washington is good enough to potentially make the playoffs. And for me, I think that's kind of where I have my tiers at. I think right now, D is like bottom of the league. C is like most likely missing the playoffs, but you have kind of maybe a chance. B is like you're either borderline playoffs just missing, or you're a first round exit potentially. A is like your second round or more. And then S is like you should have a chance to go to the conference finals or cup finals. So that's where I see the Lightning Avalanche right now. I think they have a legit chance to run it back and go to the Final Four. And I think with the Islanders, well, Colorado missed out on the Final Four, obviously. But as I said, I do think that Colorado has a chance to go to the Final Four and maybe even the Cup Finals. Same thing with the Lightning. So that's kind of my mindset right now. I mean, I would love to get some comments on where I could shift it around, and maybe I run it back in like a month or maybe like a month and a half, maybe a little bit into the season, and like re-rank some of these teams. But I mean, I'll just show like some scenarios where I could see a certain team going up a tier or a certain team going down a tier. So based on McDavid and Draisaitl and based on their improvements, I could see the Oilers in A tier. Based on their lack of additions, and they lost Suter, and they didn't really improve a lot, I could see a hot take in the Minnesota Wild. Yes, Wild fans are going to come at me saying disrespectful. The Kraken could definitely surprise, but I'm leaving them at C for now. I could see a massive hot take where the Stars are up here or even Chicago's up here. And again, because of their high-end skill, I could see the Leafs up here. But again, I'm leaving them at B for now. Outside of that, like I think that's kind of where I'm at. Like I'm putting these two back down here and putting Edmonton back down here. That's the sense. I mean, again, Winnipeg, based on what we've seen, and yes, they improved their defense, but they're still, I would say, mostly the same team. But keep an eye on Winnipeg. So I'm gonna keep Winnipeg maybe towards the end. Maybe we'll like adjust the order here. So Islanders up here, Florida, Boston, Carolina. I would move like Vegas up to here probably. And then I'd probably move like Toronto to the top of the B. So let's do a kind of a primary order here. Edmonton up here, Pittsburgh up here, Chicago move them up a little bit, Dallas move them up a little bit, and St. Louis up maybe a little bit as well. Montreal maybe a little bit. So that's where I kind of see it. Maybe Washington even up, but we'll just leave it there for now. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of where it's at. And then maybe the C tier, I think Minnesota is like close to being a B, and they could be a B. I think Seattle can be at the top of the C here. I think New Jersey is really underrated. Nashville could be there. Ottawa, really underrated. So move them down. I'll move like Detroit here. So then, yeah, and then these two are like interchangeable. So I think that's kind of where we're at for the tier list. So guys, definitely let me know what you think. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like. If you disagree with me on anything, I don't think I was too unreasonable here. Again, I think there's certain aspects like Carolina, they definitely could be a surprise and miss the playoffs. Actually, I'm probably going to move Carolina here because they were just super suspect in the offseason. It was like very skeptical, but they've shown they're good enough, and they still are a very complete team. And if they can get decent goaltending from Freddie Anderson and even Ranta, they should make the playoffs. They should. And that's why I'm saying I think Carolina is a team that if they make the playoffs, they can win a round. I'm not sure I can say the same for like a lot of these teams. Like Toronto, they have the skill level to do it. Edmonton has McDavid and Draisaitl and top-end talent, and they got better. Goaltending's still a question mark, but Mike Smith has shown well at times. And last year he showed really well. Pittsburgh, Crosby, Malkin, they have the big boys still. They have the core. Yes, they're getting older, but they can win a round. Calgary, question mark. Dallas, question mark. Can Chicago bring it together? Montreal in a tough division, but they could make it. St. Louis think could make it. And those rest of the teams, I'd say LA is a massive question mark to make it, but weaker Pacific Division. Washington and the Rangers will probably be battling for a wild card spot, I think. And Vancouver, all depends on health, but I think they could be a sneaky team in the Pacific Division as well. And I would maybe even move them up right here, maybe in LA down. So I feel like that's kind of a fair order. Some Montreal like there, maybe. Toronto, maybe, I don't know. Again, Toronto has the talent. I mean, we know it, but choking is definitely part of the Toronto Maple Leafs. So definitely let me know your thoughts. Hit that subscribe button. Drop a like. Thank you. Sorry, maybe it was all over the place, but I don't do tier videos very often, so let me know your thoughts on my rankings. And I hope to see you more for streams and videos. A lot more streams and videos to come. So this was John from Hot Take Hockey. Have a good one. Peace out.